Okay, we're recording. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second episode of the Source Code Podcast, which is a show dedicated to us giving you our opinions about the news, uncut, uncensored, and real.
Another random tidbits of tech.
Yeah. My name is Halls Knight. I'm joined today with Mike.
Hello.
And Ted, also known as TR2 Rise.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, and we've had a pretty slow week at news. First of all, Mike actually, if you're listening to the last show, he was on Linux and he moved over to Windows 10 to try and see if he could mess around with the security settings, and he had some interesting finds, and let's hear about it.
Okay. Well, if anyone has been following the news concerning Windows 10, one of the contrivances a lot of people have is in regards to the privacy element of it. Some people assume it's very invasive, some don't care too much. So this is for the benefit of those that do actually care. Now, from the get-go, there are a couple of settings within Windows 10 itself which you could disable, like Cortana, for example. You can actually disable it. However, there are a few other facets which Windows doesn't directly give you access to toggling in a friendly manner. So, since the whole controversy of the issue of privacy came up, you have several developers who have started creating tools to help users actually control the extent of what telemetry is funneled to Microsoft. So, from the few that I tested, the one which I settled with, which I think is the most comprehensive and simple to use, is called W10 Privacy. It's from a German developer. You can view it either in German or English, fortunately. Now, essentially, it does a couple of things. One, it allows you to toggle services on and off for culprit services which send information. It also edits the host file in Windows, which, in case you're aware of or not, in Windows there is a host file which, if you put an address in there and you set it to loop back, you use 127001. Any attempt for the system as a whole to try and access that address will be looped back, thus cutting off the ability for it to connect to those relevant addresses. So this tool also edits that and adds an average of 40 to 50 different addresses that Microsoft have in how they manage their telemetry. So it cuts those off. The other function that this tool can do is actually remove modern UI-based programs. Because with the introduction of Windows 8 onward, you have Microsoft's new modern framework, as opposed to the traditional Win32. So, with the tool you can remove and purge pretty much everything concerning those apps and block them off.
So in terms of the apps, you're actually saying hypothetically that you can disable the entire Windows Store, for example.
Yes, and
all live tiles as well.
On top of that, I also came across this either yesterday or the day before, where in the PowerShell in Windows, which is basically an administrative terminal of which you can have far more in-depth access and modification of Windows itself. It's possible to manually remove every single app, including the store itself. Now, the moment you do that, assuming you change your mind, you're screwed. But only in regards to the existing profile that you have. Those apps are still embedded in Windows itself, and they're still accessible. So the only way to have access to them again, assuming you removed everything, including the store, is in Windows to create a new profile. So as a default profile, it has everything back. And the other interesting thing that the tool does is, assuming your dependence strictly on Windows inbuilt firewall, and you don't use a third-party app, it can also add entries into the Windows Firewall database, restricting access to the relevant addresses that Microsoft funnels that
uses for
information.
telemetry.
Yeah, one thing I want to investigate and see if it's possible is to create an image of Windows 10 that does not include any of the modern framework whatsoever. So it would be like Windows 7 as such.
Or Windows 8.1.
No.
No.
has it. Yeah,
No, that would be strictly Windows 7.
Yeah.
Because
The-
from Windows 8, that's when
That's
the
when they
modern
added
framework
the-
actually.
Of course, the only thing that is in question is how is it going to affect the updates that come to Windows? Does it automatically reinstall and enable those services again? Assuming it doesn't, will the updates install properly? Because I'm certain that Microsoft are not really catering for people who actually want to do this to this extent. But the only way I'm going to know is if I test, so I'll make some time to start messing around and see how that works.
Nice. What did you say it was called again?
W10 Privacy.
Like you just Google it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Yes, it's just a simple,
Yeah.
it's a small
And
exe tool.
the most recent update to this tool, when you go through all the different categories,
Yeah.
if you highlight the options, it gives you brief info on what that particular app is and some consequence of what happens if it's enabled or disabled. And they've also color coded it. So for green, it's safe to do so without really caring too much. Then you have orange, where there's some considerations you have to make, and red being more critical. So the consequences of the choices, at least you're given some context to what to
So the
expect.
developer actually
Oh,
took
nice.
it upon themselves to try and
Yeah, so
warn
it's a
them.
fantastic way for also for those people who are not aware or care to know too much in-depth information about those policies. They have a basis to work with.
You said W10 privacy.
W10 Privacy.
Like the letter W.
Yeah, capital
Okay.
W. W10 Privacy.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. What do you
Yeah,
think?
so well, I for one will actually start using this tool in the coming week. But the one thing that I would really be concerned about when it comes to the store, when you said you remove the store completely and you have some apps that are pre-installed, or say simple things that you picked as a general user, your Skype from Metro, and all those related apps. Would removing the store completely cut off updates to pre-existing apps that you already had? Because last time I checked, in fact from Windows 8.1, you'd get updates from the Windows Store for store-specific apps, and nowhere else. Even the normal Windows update would not update your apps in that fashion.
To be completely honest, since Windows 8 came out, I have never used the Windows Store. I'm not a particular fan of Microsoft's interest in creating a store that now starts locking everything. And then, of course, there's the whole debate that Apple is doing it, Google does it, so why is Microsoft any different? But that's not the point. In regards to this, I don't actually know 100% whether updates from modern apps are passed through Windows Store itself. Obviously, if that's the case,
No, I can
Then-
say that they are, certainly.
then if
That's
that's
for
the
sure.
case, then I would assume if the Windows Store app itself is removed, then it's cut that off.
Okay, a little tidbit
but-
for you general users out there.
But the
Know
apps
this.
that are still installed should still function as they do. But obviously, if you remove the Windows Store app, there is no way to
You're go-
reinstall it without creating a new user profile.
Definitely.
Unless there's another mechanism found that you can grab the package off the Windows Store itself and manually install.
Well, in my experience, although I have dabbled in the Windows Store apps just for experimental purposes, there's really not much you're missing from, in my opinion. But
It might be possible to reinstate the Windows Store app through the PowerShell, but
Yeah.
I'll need to confirm. But based off my research that I did a while back, if you go to the extent of purging absolutely everything, the only recourse is to create a new user profile.
Yeesh. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that it?
yeah,
All right. Well, so aside from that, the news this week, we had two big releases. We had Mad Max that came out, and The Phantom Pain.
on
Metal
the
Gear
same
Solid,
on
yeah.
the same day, I presume.
Um,
Was it not both on the first?
I
or
don't know.
second?
It was this week. I didn't actually look.
Well, either way, they were both competing for. They were really big releases, both competing for attention, both highly anticipated.
And both received quite well so far.
At least according to various communities.
I love the Steam reviews for Metal Gear Solid. It's so hilarious.
I
They're
hate your
getting thumbs
Kojima
up.
game, right?
Yeah, I hate your Kojima game.
Basically.
And then, of course, somewhere in that you have Metal Gear Solid is epic. It's Hideo Kojima, fuck Konami.
Wow.
Yeah.
just because.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Thank
they
you, Jim
did.
Sterling.
Yeah, they did. They did bring that upon themselves. Konami did. Bad press, I suppose. It's a period. It's a dark period for them. So whatever.
Well, they're
They still get the
definitely
game.
not winning in the reputation poll at the moment, at least
not at
positively.
all. Not at all. Not at all. It's saddening. But also back to Mad Max. We can't really forget that we talked about Warner Brothers.
Oh, the
And
hoodie stuff.
Yes. I specifically talked about those pre-order details. And I'll say this, I still don't agree with those incentives, but from the reports of how the game runs on all platforms from other gaming review sources, it's actually, a 5-star effort on every single console box, and that you don't hear that every day.
Not like the
No.
Deus Ex.
No.
Augment your pre-order.
Speaking further on pre-order incentives, we have yet another target in the form of the upcoming Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Which is going to be epic.
Yes, we hope it's going to be epic, but Sujay, you had some information.
Just so the way they've done it this time round is you choose what pre-order things you want. So some of them are skins, some are weapons, some of them are like one there is a mission as well.
No, I have a problem. May I just rudely interject?
Wait. The funniest was there was something about like if they reach a certain tier of pre-orders, those guys who pre-ordered will get the game 4 days earlier
than everyone else. What are you on about? I don't.
It's honestly.
It's an incentive mechanism they're experimenting with.
It's so stupid.
Look, gentlemen. How are we
was-
supposed to have the likes of the Steam platform preloading the game for certain users and not others, without breaking something?
The other thing is the argument about this way of pre-ordering.
As in
is
just an example.
It might be preloaded a week in advance, but 3 days after the preload,
activation or something.
The pre-order guys unlock it a few days earlier than the following.
I foresee a disaster. At least on the PC digital storefronts. I really.
All it can possibly
I don't know about
do.
preloading. I just know that they got the game.
The only way to get
days
the game
earlier.
like quickly enough is give these guys much earlier time or more time to preload their content. I assume it's going to be a very big game. Activate it earlier than most people, but
They're just playing it 4 days ahead of everyone. But the whole thing was just.
I hope this doesn't become a.
Yeah, it sounds like a worrying thing.
It's a trend that personally I would not like to see happening. But what other look in terms of the tiered pre-order content, there's one thing I'd like to ask. This weaponry.
I didn't read the details.
Does it really?
I didn't really read the details.
Is it one of those things that's for, adding like extra 5% piercing damage as opposed to the 2%
no
for the
idea.
other gun that's
I have no idea. I didn't check that.
right? So we have how many tiers?
You're putting me on the spot. I have no idea. Just go have a look at it later and see for yourself.
All right, fair enough.
But it's mainly the principle of it being present
It's-
to begin with.
Yeah,
That's
like the whole thing
it's
just
disconcerting.
put me off, to be honest. It just
to
completely put me
the
off.
point that we
I
didn't even
don't
read
care.
further. Just
Yeah.
But just for the benefit of having a better understanding, for those that may not necessarily have such a cynical point of view,
Yeah.
what is it about this concept that puts you off?
So it's the fact that you have to, like, it's pre-ordering.
Yes.
You're gonna have to choose, like, one thing over the other. Let's say you can have, like, the way they've structured it is you can have, like, this rather than this, and this rather than that. And in my head, what I'm thinking is later on when they have DLC and stuff, like, how long will the Game of the Year edition take to come out? Is
So
that going to be affected?
everything is
so
together.
yeah, like that's straight up. So that means that if you want everything, you wait for the Game of the Year edition.
Or you
And-
just go along
And
purchasing
if they
DLC
want
as
if they
it
want to
comes out.
really push this, you know,
Which
model,
they probably
they'll
do.
delay it, which is annoying. I really
Well, in my
I'm not
the-
even the biggest Deus Ex.
The first
by
thing
the
that
way.
comes to mind is MK, because there are already 4 new
that was
characters
so-
planned for next year.
Yeah.
We don't know how many more are going to come out, so it could very well be the end of 2016, maybe 2017,
It was
before there'll be the equivalent of the complete edition with everything there.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for the complete edition.
You're gonna be
but,
waiting a while.
yeah.
well, a normal
And a
PS,
stage, by
a
the
normal
way.
PSA to all gamers and purchasers. Wait for a full year for your complete edition for most of these games that feature DLC. It's look, in my view, a lot of this is a norm in certain other titles. Consider all the DLC packs for the likes of the Batman Arkham series. Hell, even Civilization, although they have various models on how they produce their DLC, but in my view, waiting for a Game of the Year edition is always your best bet if you're looking to save some money, like further down the line. If you can, bear the wait.
And if you're patient.
Unless they do the
Exactly.
Borderlands route of Game of the Year, that doesn't include everything.
One thing I know
Yeah.
that was a bit annoying.
also depends on your affiliation to that IP, because Deus Ex, for example, is amongst my favorite IP within my career of playing video games.
This is
So, despite
true,
the fact
yeah.
that there's DLC, that's all well and good. When that game comes out, I am going to play it because I just have to. So, the thing is, am I a cop out from that perspective? Because the way Sujay's looking at me right
No,
now.
I'm just like, you did not play The Fall, did you?
No.
Okay.
No one played The Fall, for your information, just so you know.
I started
The
playing it
Fall.
a bit on my phone.
Yeah. You played it on your
And-
phone.
Yeah, because that's where it originally came out.
True.
And then it was ported to PC. No.
I lasted for 10 minutes.
How was the story?
That's the shortest I've ever had on any game.
How was the
in my
story?
life. What
How was
story?
that 10 minutes of The Fall story?
Look, I was on a rooftop.
Okay.
That's all I remember.
The thing is, in honesty, I haven't played The Fall, so I can't give you my own personal perspective of it. So I'm not informed based on my own experience having played it. However,
Yes.
for a lot of gamers who have played the rest of the series and love it to bits, The Fall is the one that has gotten the most negative.
Followed by
Feedback.
Invisible War.
Invisible War, yes, but still not as bad as The Fall.
I
And
haven't
honestly,
played any
Invisible War, its main problem was that it was designed primarily for the original Xbox and was ported to PC as opposed to the other way around. So the limitations of the Xbox One hardware did heavily influence how the game was made.
And
For
he
example,
means
the
the
chunky-
original Xbox One, the Xbox, which is
That's
not
why,
the new Xbox.
That's why I didn't
One.
say Xbox One, I said the original Xbox.
Sucker 2001.
Yeah.
But back to the DLC. My last gripe. You guys as a team know that I really hate story DLC being locked behind any sort of paywall. Now, why would they do this for a very story-centric game like Deus Ex? I mean, any of them. Why does this have to be the first one to have some
they've
sort
left
of
it
gated?
vague. It's sort of like a mission.
It's as part of
I
the
don't
story.
know. I don't know if it is. Yeah, I would.
it's painful
I would
to
think
hear,
it's,
truly.
Yeah.
It,
I would
as in,
think
from
so.
my perspective, like as Mike said, if you're a fan and you like the cosmetic view of things, you want your new costumes, you want your weaponry, and you'd like to pay for them, well and good. But looking out a mission or missions, that's...
You see, the thing is, if the content was already created, but they've intentionally held it back to release it as a DLC, that's a dick move.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
But that's the only
That
assumption
is
we
what
can
they've
have.
done.
It's not out
It
yet.
is. it is only for
that particular
pre-order guys,
practice is
so-
not good. It's really, really not
Yeah,
good.
it's
Look, I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt. I assume Mankind Divided will be an amazing game. I'm also a fan, I loved Human Revolution to bits. Seriously speaking, and in fact, I may replay it again, but
I suspect I might be doing so.
yeah,
too.
so that's why for me it's rather painful. I suppose you'll blame the publisher for this. I've seen Square Enix International Branch doing the same with the older release of Thief, their new iteration, the reboot, where they locked out some bank heist mission as part of a pre-order incentive.
really.
Well, these things really piss me off to no end. So
Do you know what the irony of this is, though?
yes,
That in the process of adopting this attitude,
Then
the player,
piracy.
exactly, the player base that actually benefits from it are those who pirate.
Yeah.
Because you can get an image of the game with all this content
unlocked.
pre-configured in it, cracked, and you're good to go.
Yeah, Total Biscuit was actually he made a video basically talking about.
And usually on the
basically.
same day of release, as in these things happen. Even for the biggest it's ridiculous, but I suppose that's the kind of climate we live in.
You can expect it in Feb, is when it's coming out, and we'll know how everything turned out then, I guess.
Well, at least two of us are really looking forward to it.
I haven't
regardless.
played it, so I
Yeah,
haven't
get
played
get to it. Get to it. Deus Ex is amazing.
Also on release news, there's Uncharted is basically slotted for March, and Assault Android Cactus is coming out on the 23rd.
Could
of
you
this month.
give a small rundown on what exactly Assault
Okay,
and
so
Cactus is?
look, I was really into this, and it's sort of like a top-down bullet hell shooter,
Yeah.
but it's got like 4-player co-op, and instead of using ships, you're using people, and it's like arena-based.
Yes.
So and the arenas kind of morph and change as you keep playing through waves.
So,
it looked like
fully
a
like
lot of-
procedurally generated levels.
No, it's not procedurally generated. I think they have challenge modes and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Um,
And leaderboards, of course.
Yeah,
Oh,
but the
yeah.
whole thing was 4-player co-op, and it just looked like a lot of fun at the time. The demo's been up on Steam for really long.
Early
For
access.
free.
Early
No,
access?
just demo. The demo. You can just download the demo and try it out. It's been early access for really long.
Okay.
And I had a lot of psych for it, but I don't know. Like, let's see when it comes out how it does. I think like the market for it was riper back then than it is now. Yeah, but I guess we'll see.
All right. Cool.
And also in local news, there is a LAN tournament happening on the 28th of September.
Yes, it was finally confirmed, right?
well-
They bring your own rig.
Yeah, bring your own
variant.
rig, you're right. At the
Okay.
Soul Food Cafe, it will be from 10 to 6. They have not given more details.
10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
No, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. So it's a daytime thing.
Just making sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they haven't put up any more details as of now, at least.
So is it under the auspices of the Kenya Gaming Network? Is it part of?
It's
I
part
heard
of One Up Kenya,
Okay.
and the Kenya Gaming Network are promoting it as well. Yeah. Excuse me.
Okay, so a shout out to them if you can make it.
Yeah, I feel like we
And-
should go for it.
Yeah.
Even though it's on a Saturday, by the way.
Well, it's early. It's early morning to evening. It's reasonable.
Yeah.
You know. You can
Um,
definitely make an appearance.
And another weird release date is Wildstar has gone free to play, and it will start on the 29th of September.
What is Wildstar, my good man?
MMO RPG. Action
Yes, that
based.
made by the same guys behind. Is it Lord of the Rings Online? Is it Carbine?
I don't know. I know that one
I'm
of
very-
the guys who works there had some connection to IGN. That's what I know.
And on more free-to-play news, in a surprise move, Guild Wars 2 is also making the leap.
I did not. Yeah, I did not know that.
It's also making the leap to free-to-play.
I wonder what concessions are made for those who actually paid. Like, are they given extra credits?
In fact, let us explain just how Guild Wars actually used to work. So, dear listener, you start off by purchasing your full copy of the game. And then from then on, you have full access to the core content that you have bought with no subscription fees or any further fees, except for any new expansions that come after the core game. So it's a very... Well, I personally did find it, a reasonable model for years ever since ArenaNet started out with Guild Wars 1.
Mm-hmm. You played it?
I had a taste of Guild Wars 1 years ago off someone else's account. Here in Kenya it was hell actually buying a legitimate copy back then. I do not know why. But it's actually a pretty awesome MMO. Very well made. But the thing is, as Mike was just asking right now, how exactly would this model work? Because being an owner of Guild Wars 2 as it stands today, the best we are getting is access to the core content that you have always had to begin with anyway, and some perks in terms of equipment slots, half of which we don't really use during normal game time because I don't ever remember maxing anything out when it comes to carrying equipment. And there's always a thing of this crafting material is useless as compared to the other, so get rid of it, that kind of thing, destroy it, sell it. So I don't really see how people are being helped, aside from the fact that there'll be some sort of discrimination between the free-to-play crowd and the guys who have paid, and then the other premium folk who have the Hearts of the Thorn expansion that came out just the other day. I don't get it.
See, so I've paid for Guild Wars and
the core edition,
like 2, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got one of the special editions during one of the offers that they had going on.
Yeah.
But I only have I don't have a lot of time in that. And the thing with it is I had no one to play with. So the upside is that by making it free to play, maybe more people will join, and I'll actually get that out of the way as a game. Although it does kind of suck that now it's gone free to play.
You see, what's
Which
going
automatically implies microtransactions.
Exactly.
Otherwise, how is it sustainable?
But I don't know. Maybe they give you, if you've paid for it, maybe they give you the equivalent.
There is a real world market present in Guild Wars 2. I believe in the capital city. At least last time I played it, I made it that far. It's pretty early in the game. It's really not much of an achievement.
Wait, you're talking about Guild Wars 2?
Yes.
I didn't even know you were on it.
Well, now you do. Now you do.
Oh gosh.
I've actually tested it a bit, and microtransactions, I think, will actually be a reality for cosmetic stuff. Real world money for in-game currency, that kind of thing. Apart from that, from my experience with other MMOs, I remember playing the Old Republic. That would be Star Wars by BioWare Austin. When I played that game as a free-to-player, there was some sort of segregation.
Really?
You have this thing of your player name is always marked in a certain way, in a very different fashion as opposed to everybody else. And then, if you catch my meaning, you have some limitations on joining guilds, or you have to get some really ungodly levels before you get that far.
Punish the people that play for
Yeah, the equipment slots I was talking about, to get stuff or weapon slots when you're playing the game, highly limited until, of course, you get to a certain level gate. So, in my view, I really fear that Guild Wars 2, if they're not careful, they could go down the same road and really get a bad rep. Because that MMO community is actually one of the darlings of the entire MMO scene.
Yeah.
But Who knows how this will?
Time will tell. We'll
We should give it a try at some point.
They
when
should.
when
They should
Zuku
be,
works, by the way, we're in Nairobi, for those of you who don't know, and we have some reliable ISPs. I'll put it that way.
the experience is
Varied.
different.
Varied. Varied. You mentioned Star Wars, and there was quite a bit of Star Wars related stuff. This week they announced that they won't be having server browsing in Battlefront.
Thank you, EA. And I meant that sarcastically.
Yeah, server browsing allowed you to choose a server if you're looking for a game to play, and they've removed that. They're having some kind of their own matchmaking system where it's skill based.
translation. Get more points than the other guy, and you have more skill.
Translation: ping is going to be fun.
Yes, that's true.
Pings are gonna
Ping
be
leading to
fun.
lag, leading to missed frames. You know, you thought you made a shot.
It's a shooter. You need a good ping.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. And some other news came out that QC Games were making a new multiplayer action online Star Wars game. And QC Games had the guys who worked on Dark Age of Camelot, Warhammer Online, and The Old Republic. But they also, like, the guy's name is, God, it starts with a D. Anyways, he was one of the leads behind BioWare's Shadow Realms, the game that got cancelled when Evolve was hyping up the 4 versus 1
The
stuff.
the PvP.
He was one of the
centric
guys
game.
with that game, and that got shut down. So
It's a shame because the trailers that they released, the teasers,
it looked
it
fun.
looked really cool.
But did it
The
actually have
gameplay itself, I'm not sure.
the
I
gameplay
honestly don't
wasn't
know.
really all that in my view. It was like a rehashed UI of the Old Republic, but that's just me.
The 4 versus 1 thing.
Actually,
It does sort of.
I'm curious what the progress on the new Mass Effect game is, because we haven't heard anything about it in a while now.
Well, BioWare are
yeah.
keeping very quiet about Andromeda, in case you don't know what the new Mass Effect
I
is.
think everyone knows what it's called. No.
No, don't assume. Some
I'm-
people
I'm-
haven't played the
Mass
series.
Effect was just-
And you really should, by the way,
Yes.
all 3. You really should, from beginning to end.
Yes.
It's a lot of work, but you should. BioWare have kept really quiet about Andromeda for, I believe, the last month now. The only news that they gave recently was that the interplanetary vehicle, the Mako, was getting some tweaks. Some gameplay tweaks. Apparently, we would be able to almost explore mini planets in a sense. The game real estate will be really big per planet, so
The scale is going to be quite big compared to the previous titles.
and it's not going to be Dragon Age Inquisition. That's a point that I've really driven home. So here's to something different. That game was also highly acclaimed. People love it.
Inquisition.
Yeah, guys do. So it's good to see them, not being too comfortable and complacent using old systems from their other heavy hitter for this new game. Let's see how it turns out. But honestly, no one has any new information on Andromeda, so until
Just keep our eyes peeled.
some months down
Maybe
the
they'll
line.
announce
Let's hope.
something at GGS. Maybe. Maybe.
I really doubt it. Maybe in their own events, I
Yeah.
guess. So just dropping information on the BioWare blog, but
Um,
hopefully, because the last expansion for Inquisition.
Oh,
the
and speaking of TGS, Sujay.
I don't want to interrupt.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Moving
sorry.
on, TGS.
TGS is going to be from the 17th to the 20th. Of
That
this
would
month.
be the Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, that would be the Tokyo Game Show. Yeah, I don't know if they'll announce anything. Bringing it back to what you're saying.
Now,
I
when
guess
it
we'll find
comes
out.
when it comes to the Tokyo Game Show and the Japanese devs, well, they're a very funny bunch. We can expect great gameplay content, like all like from all the new announcements that may be coming up, they may actually show some content that we can safely say would be representative of the final games.
Yeah.
And then there are the normal trolls like Square Enix.
Oh, they are doing something there. I don't know why.
They are going to unleash even more information on Final Fantasy 15. You know, something that is more than the driving sequence that they gave us at PAX. I'm really not happy that's all they gave us, but, you know, that's that. It's a game system that's working. So, kudos, I suppose.
And the graphics are quite impressive.
It looks good.
It looks really, really good.
It does.
It looks amazing.
There was one video shown a while back with the summon.
The Ramo
Yes,
Ramo summon.
exactly.
The who?
Ramo, that's it. That's his
Who's
name.
Ramu?
That's the name of that's the name of the summon.
I
Summon
want
of
the
an
classics, man.
And
it's a summon of
the
no.
environment actually changes based on the action. So there's a massive explosion, the trees are burned, you have embers here and there.
What
So
I
graphically
know,
looks really
what
cool.
I know about Ramo is he's one of the earliest Final Fantasy summons. He should have appeared in Final Fantasy 1.
So there are
He should, yeah,
a
he
few
should.
decades.
I haven't actually played it.
And he's not really been fully realized like as a 3D model in any Final Fantasy game. Like, you know, apart from the sprite animation that started everything off. So Ramo is actually quite famous here.
Oh,
right?
okay. I didn't
He's
know
a big deal. Apparently only the main character Noctis will be able to use summons thus far. At least as far as we know. But in terms of looks, FF15 is looking to be absolutely amazing, like on all fronts. And speaking of looks and rumors, there's an article that dropped. I don't know whether it was Polygon Online. Somebody, no, not Polygon, my apologies, DualShockers, dropped a claim that the game world is actually going to be over 2,000 square kilometers in size. And for comparison's sake, that is well over twice the size of the main continent of the Wild Hunt. Almost three times the
Sounds
size of GTA 5's map.
That's bigger than Skyrim.
Everything's bigger than Skyrim.
Shut up.
Hell, even Morrowind. Forget.
Mod support changed that.
Yeah, well, fine. We will not argue about the Elder Scrolls at this time, but apparently the in-game real estate on Final Fantasy 15 is absolutely humongous. From that particular rumor, they have not confirmed anything. And speaking of confirmation, yes, I am on a rant because this has pissed me off. In the same month of March 2016, when what was the name of the indie game that was coming out?
No, the indie game is coming out on September. It was Assault Android Cactus.
Yes.
And that's coming out the 23rd. Yeah, the 23rd.
Well,
Speaking of indie games, there is one that I think a lot of gamers might find thoroughly amusing.
Oh.
It's called Shower with My Dad Simulator 2015. Just go on Steam or YouTube, the official trailer, just see it for yourself.
That's too much.
it is an early access game. So we assume that full-on development is ongoing.
Is it safe for work?
And we hope for the best.
Is it safe for work?
Unless people are offended by seeing a pixelated penis, no.
Well,
As they
people
went
are
into
offended
extra
by
detail,
anything, yeah.
but fair enough.
Come on.
Wow. Sorry, you were about to go on a rant. What were you saying?
Oh yes, before I forget.
About
While
March?
we are still on release dates.
Yeah.
As far as we know, back to TGS,
Yeah.
that particular Final Fantasy 15 will have a special day to announce the release date
Yeah.
of the upcoming game.
Yeah.
This special date will fall somewhere in March 2016, upon which you, the user, will be told when the game will be released further down the line for that year. Yes, it sounds strange, but in case you're looking for more information, that's that.
It's a release of a release for the release.
Inception
of
of
the-
releases.
yeah, it's, yeah.
It's
It's just-
Look, it's ridiculous.
it's like the way Marvel is now doing trailers of trailers for trailers for movies.
So
No,
what do we
special-
call this? A teaser?
It's
A
just
trailer
called stupid.
with the date of that trailer announced to announce the trailer of the actual game.
Yeah, it's just
Ugh.
it's
So a
it's-
teaser date to tease the trailer, which is meant to tease for the game itself.
No, but that Marvel do it for movies.
Look, we probably can assume that since a lot of us value our time, we'll be looking for more concrete information after E3 of 2016. let us leave it at that, or better yet, Gamescom of that year. That's still summer of 2016. So I suppose.
Yeah, moving on to movies. Also in the news, Mega Man, the movie, is going to be helmed by Fox. Fox. Mega Man. Yeah, they're making a movie. That's Fox doing it. How do you,
Okay,
what do you think?
and we
Is that
don't.
a ninja?
Is that a ninja? Is he a ninja?
I really don't.
No, he's that
okay,
ninja.
He's
What's
that
yeah.
ninja.
He's that ninja.
Foxhound.
Going on their previous attempts at video game adaptations, or shall I say comic book adaptations, I don't have
Mega
any
Man
high
was game.
hopes. Yeah, I don't have any high hopes for the Mega Man movie.
Are you guys Mega Man fans?
Not necessarily,
I know.
Personally, no.
but it's a classic of a platformer apparently.
I'm not the
But
most
we've
passionate
we've
fan,
just
but
never-
I did
yeah.
have a lot of fun with the games. I remember on Game Boy, that was the hardest game I had.
Yeah, the
Absolute
early ones.
hardest.
The early ones apparently are really.
Yeah, it was really good. But yeah, I'm not the passionate hardcore fans, but I do like
But
Mega
anyway,
Man.
I don't have any high hopes for this movie, seeing that studio gave us the new Fantastic Four.
Although, do you remember the Mega Man cartoon?
I don't. I
That
never
was
watched it.
kind of cool, yeah, from the 90s or the 80s. I can't remember, but it was on KBC.
Speaking
It was
of,
great. It was quite
There is one
cool.
cinematic masterpiece there is to look forward to.
and that is,
The Assassin's Creed movie.
Oh.
we just had to put that in.
we talked about it last time.
We just had to drop another. Look,
But
we don't know anything about these movies, honestly.
It would be quite interesting and surprising that the movie is actually better than the last couple of games.
That would be weird.
It would be quite weird.
That would be weird if the movie turned out to be better.
Well,
than the last few
in
games,
the
that would be weird.
In defense of the teams, I think they've been losing a lot of steam. No pun intended on the upcoming syndicate. They've been losing. They've been losing quite a bit of steam when it comes to their later releases. I played Rogue, as I said last week, and it was, graphically intense, nice looking, plays well. It was well optimized. But it's the same old. You get kind of tired. After a shorter time period, I suppose. They really need a shake-up. I don't know.
I've played all the
Everything,
Assassin's
yeah.
Creed up to 3. I also played Black Flag, but I haven't played Unity. I'm not sure if I'll play Syndicate. But the original creator of the series had a specific story in mind, which spanned over a few of these games. And technically speaking, it was meant to end at 3.
Exactly.
But due to some disagreements between the creator and Ubisoft, and the only thing that makes it some form of immediate sense
Yeah.
is obviously Ubisoft know that Assassin's Creed franchise makes a lot of money. And so in order to prevent concluding it then and there, they tried stretching it out. And I would assume that the original creator was not going to have that, so they parted ways. Which would explain why from Black Flag onward the story just has lost its charm.
It's
that's what I think.
It's a sad state of affairs. Some of us actually followed it from day one. I think from 2007.
Look, to give them props, and especially to the actual creator of the IP, to have the concept of an animus technology to actually read memories
From people's DNA.
from people's genetics and
Yeah.
replay those events was a very cool concept. Of course, you have the whole conspiracy theory involved with the Templars and so on, but basically after 3, it's really stretching it now. There's no satisfaction from the story itself, and at least while I was playing it, that was really what kept me going through.
Well,
Because the gameplay is repetitive throughout all of them. There's no denying that.
I had a funny incentive for playing a lot of the later Assassin's Creed games. Like, especially after Assassin's Creed 2, Chapter 2. That would be Brotherhood.
Yeah.
The insanely detailed encyclopedia entries. If you've never started the series, those things can actually give you extra incentive to go read up on your history further. They are really well fleshed out. If no one has talked about them, I give it my personal thumbs up.
Brotherhood was actually good, because I remember I was quite cynical with the notion. And
of an extra chapter within the same.
Till this day, I've not heard the end of it from Hell's Night.
Yeah, I gave you a lot of.
Because I was convinced it was going to be shit.
It was
good.
It was amazing.
It did sound like they were milking it a little bit, and you could argue, and
no, but there was
like,
a sensible.
You could honestly argue that
but the thing is,
because
at this point in time, it's indefinite milking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could argue that the logic that maybe the corporates, we're speculating.
It would make obviously it would make them extra cash, but I don't think that was strictly the incentive, because Brotherhood and Revelations was to wrap up Ezio's story, which maybe they couldn't have packed into one game.
Maybe no, and that cohesiveness actually was very encouraging to see. Like when you see your in-game character growing up from a young rebellious.
Listen, I haven't played it.
No, just growing up from a young rebellious chap to.
Spoilers.
All right, fair enough. But your character ages is what I'm trying to say. As in, there's some good progression that you don't see often.
I did not realize.
And in fact, they went even further to produce some animated features, because if you remember, Assassin's Creed Embers completely ends the tale after Revelations. I will not spoil it for anybody on this podcast.
End of an animation, just the end. And it's a big spoiler, so I won't talk about it here.
Yeah, we.
And I haven't played the game, so hey, there you go.
Well, you made kind of a mistake by yourself. Deal with it.
It's
I suppose.
Right. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm okay. I'm actually okay with certain spoilers, just as long as they're not gameplay things that I might like to find out.
But I think it was one of the subplots within a major arc that was done really, really well.
Okay.
Because by the time they were through with that and went on to 3, we all knew, fine, the story is concluding. And as Mike says, it's gone a bit downhill from there, to say the least. They put in a lot of work, yes.
If your interest was in the original story and having some sense of conclusion, you're not going to get it now.
Yeah, it's done. It's done, truly.
The story just being stretched to justify making more games. Which is unfortunate, but that's the choice that all respective party members made behind the continuation of the series, which is sad. But money.
Money. On to money now. Machinima. This is the last bit of news, by the way, that I have at least. Machinima, recently they were involved in a lawsuit against them, and they actually settled. Apparently, they paid two of the guys at Machinima to basically do pieces where they really had to, say, they had to basically talk about how great the Xbox One was, and they presented them as their actual opinions, even though they probably didn't feel that way, and they didn't disclose it, so they got sued. That was basically the story.
So they're sellouts.
They're sellouts. And this is actually the second. They were involved in something else.
But if settling it is, aside from being sued, if the whole point of settling is to try and keep it under wraps, it didn't really help, did it?
I think settling is to avoid the lawyers' fees and stuff. Like, it might cost you more in the long run, rather than just give what they're saying that you owe.
Actually, that is a point of
That's
settlement
that
within a
that was the
legal.
point. Yeah.
We're
curious-
sellers, but we saved some money.
Yeah.
Yay.
But this is
Yeah.
a problem that a lot of YouTube entities have had to deal with, especially the individual broadcasters. You know, all
I
having
actually liked
to
Machinima. Yeah.
having to defend their biases or lack thereof over certain issues.
It
actually became a
It
thing
is a
when
huge
from
issue.
late 2013.
I think ever since Gamersgate, that stuff really hit the fan, and ever since then, everyone's been hypersensitive about it.
Which is a
But
good
what
thing.
exactly?
I think
ends
disclosure
up
is
being a
all
good
well
thing,
and good.
yes.
Yeah, so that's a good
What
thing.
exactly was Gamersgate? Was the original
I am
message?
not actually sure. It completely got twisted into things that it wasn't. So
It's still a miasma of just.
it stopped. Like I haven't seen any reference to it in the past
So
few
ostensibly,
months. So it died.
ostensibly, all we can assume is they were discussing journalistic ethics.
It was about journalistic ethics. Yeah.
At some
And it
point.
turned into something else. is what Gamersgate did.
Wasn't there some feminist angle to it?
No,
eventually?
so the story about Gamersgate was something to do with either a female journalist or a female developer who slept with,
the counterpart.
the counter, and that person did a story, and it's something to do with either them having exclusive rights to knowing about that story, or them having a biased opinion because it's someone you're sleeping with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it turned into something
When actually they were really
completely
not.
ridiculous.
When they were really not, apparently. So.
Yeah. But yeah, full disclosure here, we are being really honest about what we've read, so that's we're not being paid. Just letting you know.
Doesn't seem
Just
that
letting you know.
imply that we might be.
Yeah. No, but if we ever are being paid, we'd obviously make it very clear.
We'd rather
If there's
not
any
have
money
the
involved,
assumptions.
it will not be to curtail or influence what we want to say.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the deal can be shoved up the respective party's ass.
I
We
don't
cannot
know.
get any
like,
clearer
you've
than
never,
that.
You've never used what is that cream? Basically, when you get the rash near your areas, you use that cream.
Gentlemen,
Hemorrhoid-
why are we
hemorrhoids
having
cream.
this? Why are we having this
Because
discussion?
yeah, would you do an ad for hemorrhoids? Even though you've never used it, like. Yeah. Anyway, so that's all I had. Did you have anything, Pops? Ted, sorry. Yeah. Nothing. Okay, so I guess that's it, and yeah, that's all for our show. Now our podcast is actually doing really well, and you can follow us on our YouTube channel, which is going on. It's called Ponage254. And if you have questions for us next week, we'll talk about it. Our email is ponage254@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook. I'm Hell's Knight Sujay. I'll be putting up more updates on what we're doing, in case we start doing another show or whatever.
I'm Ted, otherwise known as TR2Rise. You can find me on Twitter under that handle, or on Facebook as Ted.
And I'm Mike, and wishing everyone happy gaming.
Happy
And if you can, try not to succumb and change your morals and ethics with money or sex.
That's good advice.
That's
That's good advice, kids.
that's very good advice. We endorse it fully.
Oh, by the way, what are you playing?
Wow.
That was
Quite
a
a
random
few-
question,
yes,
yeah, but what are you actually playing?
You just finished Shadowrun.
Yes. A quick note on the Shadowrun hybrid RTS and RPG. A bloody good game. Very short.
Short.
Very. It's pretty short. It's just that I drew it out for months on end because I ended up playing many other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just done with Shadowrun Returns by Harebrained Schemes, an indie developer, mind you.
I do have
It was a well done game, and I'm currently paying more attention to Final Fantasy Type 0.
What about you, Mike?
I recently finished Bioshock Infinite. I'd played it shortly after it came out, but I hadn't played the DLCs. So I replayed it in order to play the 2 Burial at Sea
DLC.
episodes, and they were good. It wraps up the story.
It's everything now fully.
Yeah.
Okay, I should get that to that. What about you? What about you, Elsman?
So when I'm not playing Skyrim, I'm probably playing Cognition. At least for this
yes.
week. I'm on episode 2. And yeah, it's good so far. Really good point and click. Yeah.
Okay, so quick recommendations in case you're looking
Yeah.
for something to...
In case you want to play along with us, yeah, you can do that. All right, that's it for the show. Bye bye. Have a great week. Gosh, this is gonna take a while to stop recording.